Fashion has always been one of the most appealing, attractive, and lucrative business. With globalization, this has even increased further and fashion industry has emerged as one of the leading industries in the world. Fashion, we started with in the last few videos where we talked about the elements and principles of fashion designing. But any design is incomplete if it is not marketable. So, after the design is done, the next step is to produce it and sell it to the market. Whatever is selling is in fashion. So, welcome everybody to Knowledge is Fun 2020, where we are going to talk about fashion merchandising. This video is just the beginning, it is an introduction to the history of fashion and merchandising. So, let's move further and talk about the learning objectives in this particular video. Fashion design and merchandising. We'll talk about the significance of fashion design and merchandising in the garment industry. It is the most important part, the fundamentals of the garment industry. Then we'll talk about the fashions of the fundamentals of the fashion. Then knowledge and skill which you require if you want to enter the fashion business. And finally, how to have a career in this wonderful industry that is the fashion industry. Now, first, an introduction to merchandising, how this trade began. So, in the first step, textile industry of India has always been thriving for ages. We have a very rich tradition of textiles. Our textiles were exported and were world famous, be it the muslin of India, the pashminas, the carpets, they are all world known. After that, the fashion designing led to the garment and the accessory designs. So, after textiles, the next step was to produce the garments. These garments were generally custom made and handmade, and also the accessory designing. Accessories include your earrings, your jewelry, the bags, the footwear. This is all the accessory designing. The next step was the barter of the products and the crafts which were produced. If one person was producing footwear, the other garments, they would interchange it, and the interchange of the garments as per use was known as the barter system. You must have covered barter system in economics also. This was the beginning of all trade in the world. Now in 1920, a new step emerged. That was the ready to wear. Now, when you go to the market and buy the ready mades, wear them that very day, do you think how much we owe to the history of fashion? It was only in 1920 that the ready mades were brought to the market. You could simply go and buy and wear them. And the final step which led to the fashion industry was that whatever was saleable was available in the market, or rather, what was available in the market was only what could be sold. If a product is not sellable, obviously, none of the merchandisers are going to produce it. So, we realize that fashion is comparatively a new industry, and this new specialization was known as fashion. So it has a very rich tradition. The significance of fashion merchandising, or how the fashion business actually works, it begins with the planning. By planning, we imply that what, why, and when a style becomes a fashion. What is style? What is fashion? We are going to deal with it later on in details, but I'm sure you must be familiar with the basic terms. So, how a style becomes a fashion, and to determine its suitability for retail operations and the length of time. You must have seen your mothers wearing the same sari for even after 20 years, and it works. But none of your suits would work for 20 years. So, the length of the time till the fashion is sustainable, why, when, and how the fashion evolves. The next step is the process of buying, which includes all the processes from the raw material to the retail stores which sell fashion merchandising. Even the retail stores, they buy it from the wholesalers buy it from the producers, and the producers also owe something to the laborers. So this whole chain is buying, and final product is in the market when you are ready to sell it. So, it is a three-step process beginning with planning, buying, and finally selling it at the retail stores, the departmental stores, or the chain stores. Now, do you know one thing, that women did not start wearing jeans in the 1950s? The jeans or the denims which we wear every time, which is one of the most convenient and the sturdy fabric, it came around only in the 1950s. So, let's first understand the concepts before I tell you how in 1950s the denims came. The basic concepts, the first is fashion. What is fashion? Fashion is a style or styles which are most popular at a given time. Whatever is popular at a given time is fashion. Obviously you must be familiar with it. आजकल बताओ कौन सा fashion चल रहा है? Just give it in the comment box. What is the fashion like today? Obviously, we are in a lockdown, but still, the fashion prevails. Next is the style. A particular look, characteristic in apparel, accessories. This is a style. Fashion may come and fashion may go, but the style always remains. Now, you see in this picture, there are many styles. There are different types of garments, the styles. One is short, long, loose, and baggy style or tight fit. So these are all the different styles. One style may come and one style may go, but the style remains. For example, remember the 70s and the 80s? Our heroes and all the heroines, they were wearing bell bottoms. The style may have evaded from the fashion scenario, but the bell bottoms, the style, it remains. Then you have fads or short lived fashion. It is a fashion which comes and goes in a single season. It lacks the strength in the design which can hold the consumer attention for long. For example, hot pants, baggies, unstitched, unmatched buttons. It was also in fashion, if you remember. The two buttons of the coat, they were all of different colors. These are all fads. They do not sustain for a long time. Aate hain, with a bang they come, rise very fast, and soon they are out of the fashion scenario. And the last is classics, which is absolute opposite of the fads. Classics are the styles that never become completely obsolete. Remember your mother's silk saris? Anytime she wears it, it's always in fashion. It's a classic. Or the little black dress? Anytime if you don't have anything to wear, just go in for the little black dress with high heels and you are ready. So these are the classics. These are the styles which never become completely obsolete. They remain more or less accepted for an extended period of time, and they are characterized by simplicity, and this simplicity keeps it from being outdated. For example, blazers, jackets, these are all classics. Polo shirts, little black dress, or the channel suit, these are all classics. Now let's go back and study the fashion development or the history of fashion. Ancient and medieval times, if you just have a look at these pictures, the styles remain practically unchanged for century two. मतलब 100 years and no change in the styles. तो आप कभी देखो all the earlier kings and the queens, be it of India or abroad, they had fashion which were more stable. Then came the Renaissance, where the Western civilized countries discovered different cultures, customs, and costumes. And this discovery, it led to the acceleration in fashion change, availability of new materials, and this availability of new trends. It created a want in the customers. They wanted to go in for new things, try out new styles, and go in for new fashion. And it was then that France became the center of fashion. Its dominance began in early 18th century, and the people in those times, that is the early 18th century, belonged basically to two classes only. Either they were wealthy or they were poor, and obviously in those times the fashion was restricted only to the wealthy. In the 18th century, King Louis XIV and his court members, they became the trendsetters of taste. They were fashion leaders, they gave lot of importance to fashion, and thus the fashion Paris, the fashion capital of Europe, it emerged as a fashion center because it has the support of the royal court and also because of the development of the silk industry. The industries in France, they supplied silk fabrics, ribbons and laces. And all the clothes, can you imagine, in those times were handmade and custom made. They were not stitched on the sewing machine. It was all handmade. They took a lot of time. And custom made, it means that they were to the exact measurement of the customer. ऐसा नहीं है कि you went to the market, give me a small size, medium size or an XL. No, they were made as per the requirements of the individual, and so they were very expensive. A new term cropped up, that was couture, which is the art of dressmaking. Now we make use of this word very often. And the male designers, they were known as couturers and the females were known as couture. So this was the emergence of France as the fashion capital. So it's not a very old industry. Then came the Industrial Revolution and the things changed. The technological advances were made in the textile production. More fabrics now could be produced in a less time. Spinning, jenny, power looms, they all were invented and it revolutionized the production of fabric. It gave rise to the development of American textiles, and the biggest thing was it gave birth to the middle class. I told you in France, then you had only two classes, the wealthy and the poor. Now emerged the middle class, which was going to be very important in the fashion industry. The next landmark was 1790. Till now, the clothes were all handmade, remember? Now in 1790, the invention of sewing machine was made and it was a breakthrough. This turned the handwork or the handicraft to the industry. Now the fashion industry began, so it's not very old, just about 220 years old. It made it accessible for everybody, be it the wealthy or the middle class. In 1859, Isaac Singer developed a foot treadle. And what was the importance of this foot treadle? It left your hands free and you could maneuver the clothes. It was even simpler. And finally, these machines were also made use of vastly to make the Civil War uniforms. The uniforms, they were all stitched, they were not custom made, they were made as per the standard sizes. And the next was 1849. I told you till 1850 the women did not make use of jeans and denims. Do you know that how the denim evolved? It's very interesting. Levi Strauss, he was a young boy and he made use of tents and the wagon covers, जो कार के covers होते हैं, उनसे what he did was he made long pants which had big pockets, and these pockets were used to store the tools of the workers. And because they were made of tents and the wagon covers, they were very strong, sturdy, and all the tools would not make the pants sag or tear. This was the beginning of denim, and when it gained popularity, it was an absolute hit, and this was the beginning of clothes for the laborers. We told you the first it was the wealthy people, then came the middle class, and finally it was the clothes for the laborers. Later it was known as the denims. Now we better call them as jeans also. And this is the only apparel that has remained the same for 150 years. Can you just beat it? 150 years. Now, after the invention of denims, what happened next? In 1880s, the women started wearing separate skirts and trousers or the blouses. अब जैसे अब करते हैं mix and match, you have different kurtis with different trousers, you can wear them plazo, you can have it with jeans. तब जो है इससे पहले before 1880 there were only single dresses from top to bottom. Now they wore different skirts and tops, and so the manufacture of ready to wear began in 1880. The length, waistlines, they could be easily adjusted as per the styles, and the working class, they had lots of varieties because they could mix the different separates. One skirt could be worn with two or three tops and different tops with different trousers. So it was very useful for the working class and the middle class. Now in the 19th century, the affordable fashion began. The clothes were marketed to fairs and the bazaars. The travelers brought the clothes to these fairs. The buyers and sellers, they usually met at a place, the fair and the bazaars, and they bargained. The general stores were established and variety of goods and the retail stores grew. And finally, this growth continued till today. Now we have big departmental stores, the chain stores, and the demand for the variety of goods has only grown. The people are more open to new ideas. The world has shrunk. The fashion industry has only grown. I hope the fashion is clear. You'll be able to understand the hard work which has gone behind these departmental stores and the fashion labels which we look at today. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to give me your comments in the comment box, and also don't forget to click at the bell button so that you have all my videos at the earliest. Thanks a lot again, and see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.